All right, day 6 homework solutions, right? When we look at the first one, find the measure of angle R. This RSQ. So when I look at RSQ here, that's an inside angle, right? So when I look at it, RSQ is going to be equal to 115 plus the 55, all divided by 2. When you add those together and divide by 2, you get 85 degrees. Okay, so the next one, I'm looking for arc FG. Now remember, when I look at this, I'm given the inside angle here, right? So when I look at that inside angle, I have to use this arc and this arc here. So I basically say arc FG plus arc, the 52-degree arc. When I add those together and divide by 2, that would give me the inside angle. So here, when I solve for FG, multiply by 2, FG plus 52 is equal to 200. And now, when I subtract 52, I get arc FG is equal to, right, 148 degrees. Okay? Now, number 3 is a little more difficult because when I look at this angle here, when I look at the arcs that go with it, I don't know them. But what you have to understand is, can I use these arcs, right, to find this angle? Yeah. So I'm going to say this angle is going to be 56 plus 146, all divided by 2, right? And 146 plus 56 divided by 2 gives me this angle is 101 degrees. Well, what do these angle 1 and that 101 degree angle have to add up to 180 degrees? So angle 1 is equal to 79 degrees. Okay? Now the next one. Since x is an outside angle, I'm going to take my far arc, subtract my near arc, and divide by 2. And when I do that, I get 46 degrees. Okay? Again, x is an outside angle here. So far arc minus the near arc divided by 2 will give me 50 degrees. Now here, if I look, I'm using that outside angle and these two arcs to find SU. So I know far minus the near divided by 2 will give me that outside angle. So far minus the near, which is SU, all divided by 2 would give me 55 degrees. So when I solve for SU, multiply by 2, 180 minus SU is equal to 110 degrees. I'm going to subtract 180. That gives me negative SU equals negative 70. So when you think about it, arc SU is 70 degrees. Okay? Now here, when I look, X, that's this arc here. I'm going to use the outside angle, right? And the far arc and the near arc to find X. So I know far, 160, minus the near, X, all divided by 2, will give me that 50 degrees. I'm going to multiply by 2. 160 minus X equals 100. And if I just go and solve the rest of it, X is equal to 60 degrees. Okay? Now to find Y, here's the thing. Y, the vertex of that angle is on the circle, so that's an inscribed angle. So once I know X is 60 degrees, I'm going to find this arc here by doing 360 minus 60 minus 160. And when I do that, I get this arc here is 140 degrees. And since Y, the vertex of Y is on the circle, right? Y is just half of that arc, right? So 140 divided by 2 is 70 degrees. Next one, find the measure of arc LN. So they want me to find this arc. This is using a combination of everything. So right away, if I look, I don't know an inscribed angle or anything. But what I do know is I can find this arc by taking 55, multiply it by 2 to get 110, because this here is an inscribed angle. Once I know that's 110, now I know arc LN is equal to 360 minus 110 minus 145, which gives me arc LN is 105 degrees. Okay. Now the next one, find the measure of angle R. Well, if I look, angle R is an inscribed angle. And in order to find it, I need the measure of arc PQ. Well, how can I find this? Well, if I know these two arcs, right, what do all three of these arcs have to add up to? 360. So 360 minus 74 minus 166, well, it tells me that this arc is 120 degrees, and angle R, since the vertex is on the circle and it eats that arc, it's half the measure of the arc. So 120 divided by 2 is 60 degrees. All right. So now again, this is kind of like a cumulative review and steps up the elevation of problems. So when I look here, this here is a central angle. And remember, a central angle is equal to the measure of the arc. So if that central angle is 3x minus 4, that's going to equal the outside or the measure of the arc. Well, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 3x equals 84. And when I divide by 3, x is equal to, in this case, that'd be 28 degrees. Okay. Next one, number 11. This is an inscribed angle, right? So remember, an inscribed angle is equal to the arc divided by 2. So if that arc is 110, 110 divided by 2 tells me that this angle is 55 degrees. So all I'm going to do is take x plus 8, set it equal to 55, and when I subtract 8, x is equal to 47 degrees. Okay? Now, to find x here, x is in the expression that represents a central angle. Well, that central angle is equal to the measure of this arc, which right now I don't know, but what I do know is that this inscribed angle, right, goes along with this arc here. Well, if I double the measure of this angle, 45 times 2 is 90. Therefore, that central angle has to equal 90 degrees. So, solve for x. 3x equals 99. Divide by 3. X is equal to 33. All right, number 13. Well, this is an inscribed angle. This is my central angle. And remember, if this is my central angle, that's also equal to this arc. So the measure of this arc is a measure of this angle. Now, if I look, remember, the inscribed angle, let's do this. Let's make this easy and say, we can look at this two ways. The inscribed angle is equal to the arc divided by 2, right? Or we could say 2 times the measure of the inscribed angle is equal to the arc. This is much easier to use when we go to solve the equation. So 2 times the measure of the inscribed angle, 2x minus 25, is equal to the measure of the arc, which is 2x plus 36. So remember, this is the measure of the arc, which is 2x plus 36. Your inscribed angle is 2x minus 25, which goes there. So now, distribute the 2. 4x minus 50 is equal to 2x plus 36. Subtract 2x, add 50, you get 2x is equal to 86. And when you divide by 2, x is equal to 43. All right. Now here, when I look, this inscribed angle intercepts this arc. Well, if I look at that arc is half a circle, because if this is my diameter, this is 180 degrees. So we know 2x minus 8 is going to be half of that, which makes that 90 degrees. So 2x minus 8 equals 90. Add 8. 2x equals 98. Divide by 2. X is equal to 49 degrees. And this one here. If you remember, a radius drawn to a tangent gives you a 90-degree angle. So that's 90, that's 90. And if I look at this four-sided figure, what do all three angles in a four-sided figure have to add up to? 360. So x is equal to 360 minus 90 minus 90 minus 40, which gives me 140 degrees. And over here, again, a radius drawn to a tangent gives you a right angle. If I'm looking for the length of this segment here, that's a right triangle, and I can use Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. And that tells me x squared is equal to 9 plus 16, which is 25. Take the square root. X is equal to 5.